Where are we going? North.
Welcome to Deges Dragons.
Therapeutic benefit in role-playing games.
Welcome to Deges Dragons.
Oh yeah, baby.
Your presence quested in exchange for treasures.
Are we talking one treasure each?
Count that.
This episode of Deges and Dragons was filmed in front of a live audience.
So, welcome to a live edition of Deges and Dragons. Today we're going to be playing Clink. So if you do follow us, you'll see that we played it before, and that was in the Edo period. So we'll be doing the spaghetti western setting, and that's really the easiest way, I think, to play this game, but it really is adaptable to any setting you want. And they have a few examples in the book where you do kind of like a paranormal investigator or a sci-fi, but anyway, so this is what we'll be doing. So we'll go into the mechanics in a little bit, but first we're going to be creating our drifters. So when you make a character, you actually want to be purposefully mysterious and vague, because some of the mechanics of the game are actually having flashbacks and just these memories that help flesh out your character. And you do that as a group. And we'll get into that in a minute. But I think Nate and Tony will share the actual drifter sheet in the chat, but it's very simple. We're going to just be making a nickname, your general appearance, 2 mementos, and then a trigger. So what the trigger is whenever blank, I blank. And it's a behavioral response to a stimulus. So what it wouldn't be is whenever I gamble, I win, because that would be sort of just controlling fate. That's not what this is about. So an example would be whenever I gamble, I cheat. That's something I have control over, and that's just my response to the action. Another example would be whenever I hear a high-pitched ring, I begin shadowboxing. And so you may guess, like, in my earlier career, I was a boxer, and now that's sort of ingrained into me. So it's a behavioral response. So we'll be creating one of those prior to the game, and then a second one while we're playing. And it's a matter of you reacted to something that occurred in the gameplay in a way that you just liked it, and you want to integrate that into your character so it becomes a permanent part of you. So then you'll have a second trigger. And whenever the trigger occurs, so you'll role play that out. And it can be challenging sometimes, but in general, you want to make it something that's not going to be uncomfortable for you. You want to be able to do it. The first time that you respond to your trigger during the gameplay, you will receive a coin. And this is a currency. It's not the matter of flipping coins. It's something that you will give into me to develop those flashbacks that I mentioned before. So just again, so does everybody see the drifter sheet?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, great. So everybody will create a nickname. That can be anything. Doesn't matter. It can be, Billy the Kid, simply the Kid, Sugar, Deadshot, whatever you want it to be. You'll make the one trigger. And if you have any further questions about that, then feel free to ask or send them into the chat. You'll come up with 2 mementos, and you don't want, again, like your character, you don't want these like really fleshed out backstories about how you acquired these, because you'll use those as prompts basically for creating or fleshing out your character while we play. So there are a few examples on there. So something empty, a flask, something that you've had forever. When you were a kid, you got a little box car that you carved, or somebody else carved for you, gave it to you as a gift, carried it around. something broken, a broken shotgun that you carry around. So whatever. And like personally, I really lean into all sorts of wacky stuff. So, you know, like I'm carrying around a macaroni picture of a llama. And so like not going to figure out why I have that right now, but I have it. And at some point during the gameplay, maybe that'll fit in perfectly, or maybe it'll be rather bizarre. And that's everything. That's what I'll be making right now. So give everybody a few minutes to fill those out. And once we do that, we'll come together and form a creed. And the creed is a singular pursuit that we all share. The reasons for sharing this creed can absolutely vary, but it's just something that holds this particular group together. And yeah, so we'll talk about that once everybody has their characters.
And while you guys are creating your characters, I'm just going to play a quick video that kind of explains a little bit about what we're about. For centuries, scholars and philosophers have debated on the proper definition of the Dege. Thankfully today, I hold the answer. Short for degenerate, Dege is a term of endearment rather than a derogatory moniker. Although it is not 100% confirmed by science, the widely accepted theory of the Dege origin story can be traced back to just one man. Playfully calling his son and his group of grade school friends a group of degenerates, Mr. A quickly shortened the group moniker to Dege, and thus the era of the Dege was born. Yeah, okay, fine. So I embellished the truth just a little bit, but you know, for the most part, it's true. Conrad and I, we've been friends for about 23 years and counting, and there's 4 other Deges along for the ride. Alex, appearing in Goblinville as Sneef. Paul, appearing in Shattered as Trumpet Royale. Dan in Kids on Bikes as Nelson Sr. and in Goblinville as Stump. And Brian, who isn't a role player, but he is a musician and lended his soundtrack to our Shattered series. And although many outsiders have tried, Tony is one of the few to earn the illustrious title, Dege. Conrad's dad is the Mr. A of legend, and he would swiftly open the door to Conrad's bedroom to quickly and jokingly ask, "What you Deges doing?" Now, I'm not sure if he even said the word degenerate or if it was always just Deges, but that's what we've referred to each other for over 2 decades. The Deges. Dege Time, the concept in which our brand is named after, started as a way to poke fun at the Deges who typically ran late. Usually Brian. Oh, Brian needs 4 hours of Dege Time after waking up. I mean, it's only 7 p.m. That's probably why he's late. Or, man, I think I need to tack on 20 minutes of Dege Time before I head to the grocery store. Over the years, the concept of Dege Time has changed, and we like to think of it as the unplanned time in between. Whether that be the time in between the mundane and boring tasks of day-to-day, or it's between the good times and the bad. Dege Time is our term for self-care. Maybe the dishes in the sink are piling up, or you happen to walk past that dirty carpet that you need to get around to vacuuming. Look, I get it. Life can be overwhelming. Sometimes it's okay to sit down and think to yourself, no, it's Dege Time. I'm going to read another chapter of that book first, or maybe I'm going to take a spin around the block on my bike. I'm not saying to put off the things that need to get done, but what I am saying is that perhaps it would be more beneficial to your mental well-being to sit down and read another chapter or 2 of that book before doing the dishes, or go for that bike ride after the carpets are clean. As you go about your day today, especially in the times that we currently find ourselves in, we ask you to do one thing for yourself, and that is factor some Dege Time into your day. Keep your mind refreshed and recharged. You might actually be surprised at the difference it makes.
All right. So how's everybody's characters, their drifters coming?
My drifter is coming along pretty well. I think he's about done, actually.
Awesome.
Still working for a moment.
Oh, this is going really well.
Do you want some of the ripper?
So we make 2 mementos? Is that what you said?
Yes. And again, while we're going over this, so just do a little bit of maintenance. So this game was listed as adult for the traditional Western themes, you know, guns, alcohol, tobacco, all of those things. So we definitely want to have everyone feel comfortable with, you know, just letting loose as adults, but at the same time, we don't want to make other people uncomfortable with things that we might be having fun with. So if there's anything that's just like crossing the line, you can definitely feel free to send that to myself or Nate and Tony now. You can also, at any point, if you feel uncomfortable, just take both your arms, hold up the X, and if I'll see that, and we'll just move on. And if I don't see it, then Nate and Tony will see it if I'm like looking at my notes or something, and we'll make sure to move on so that everybody is doing well and having fun. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good to me.
And I guess whenever you're finished with your drifter, just give a thumbs up.
So I just want to make sure we're only doing 1 trigger at this time, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then the appearances. I mean, do we need an appearance for sure?
No. And again, just like being mysterious is how you want to start. So,
Okay.
you know, head to toe, if it's just one big duster and nobody can see anything on you, that's totally good.
I just want to say quick, I fully support the idea of Dege Time. I think it's great.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah.
I think I'm pretty good over here.
Awesome.
All right, I am good.
Yeah. And any other questions so far? Anything that we've talked about? All right, good. All right, Wendy and Tim, how are you coming along? All good?
I think we're good, yeah.
All right, cool. So I'm just going to go down the list by how I see people. So we'll start with John. And so we'll reveal the nickname, the trigger, and your 2 mementos.
All right, so my character is named the Acorn. He's tall, wears a cowboy hat, is muscular, and speaks in a low voice. And his catchphrase is, "They call me the Acorn because I'm tough everywhere, and once in a fugue state, I fell from a tree and landed on a horse-drawn buggy, just like an acorn." 2 mementos, a browned leaf with a smiley face drawn on it, and a pom-pom. And my trigger is, whenever it starts to get too hot, I shout, "Water me, water me."
Awesome, excellent. Thank you, the Acorn. Dustin.
Yes. My nickname is Blackjack. My trigger is whenever I talk to someone to get answers, I stare at them uncomfortably long without reacting. It's just kind of asks a question and it's almost like he dazes off for a moment. Mementos, a deck of cards that's never been used. And just the head of a teddy bear. The rest of the body is missing and a little bit of stuffing kind of coming out of the head. But it's definitely pretty worn.
Perfect. All right. Sam.
I am El Predictador. My trigger is whenever I get stressed, I mumble Bible verses. I am a short, stocky man wearing a poncho and sombrero set that I never take off. And my other memento is a Bible that I have had forever.
Perfect. And Sorry, can you the nickname one more time? I don't know if I wrote that down correctly.
El Predictador. ELPREDICADOR. It's the preacher in Spanish.
Perfect. Wendy?
Well, my nickname is Fanny Manny May. My trigger is that if there's a gunshot or a gunshot-like sound, I will drop flat to the ground on my stomach with my arms and legs tight against my body in like a reverse plank. I am short. I am wearing a large, oversized white long dress with a very, very large white straw rimmed hat. Like you see the women in vacation in Florida with those big beach hats.
Awesome.
My mementos are a valveless French horn with no mouthpiece, and one pair of hospital slippers with a worn toe on the right foot.
All right, awesome. And Tim?
My character's name is Paco. The trigger is whenever I smell tequila, I have to drink some. The mementos are a silver cigarette case. And the other memento is a string around my neck with 2 teeth on it. I'm short. I'm about 5'3", weigh about 120 pounds, have a big sombrero with a leather duster, wear Indian moccasins. I carry a meat cleaver that I can shave with, and a double-barreled shotgun.
Awesome. All right, cool. So our team here, we have Blackjack, El Predictador, Fanny Manny May, the Acorn, and Paca. So the creed that holds us all together, it may be something, the classic, I think, is just sort of in search of money or gold out in the West. Could be vengeance on some gang that wronged all of you. Could be there's rumors of evil spirits that need to be cleansed, or taking the law into your own hands and searching for somebody that there may be a bounty on. Any of these sound appealing?
I kind of like most of them, to be honest, so.
Kind of like the taking the law into your own hands. Perhaps just who knows for what reasons, but yeah, that something needs fixing. We're here to do it.
Yeah, kind of like that too. Maybe anarchy wherever we are, and we have to take law into our own hands.
Cool. All right. So that sound agreeable. So the creed, will say the tame the lawlessness. That sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, sounds like a plan to me.
Okay. So now we have our drifters, the mechanics of the game. So that there should be a group sheet that's been shared. And whenever there's something that's challenging, that's when we're going to go to the coin flips. And for basically everything, you'll flip a single coin. And it just follows a progression of how the narrative is going. So nothing is necessarily like a fail. It's just that it's the way the narrative moves. So, for example, when we flip the first coin, you succeed, but something goes wrong, or there is a minor setback. If you hit the tails, another player describes how the situation gets worse. And that's one of the great things about Clink, is there's that constant, like a second player is going to make some sort of commentary on what you're doing, or you'll discuss it. And it really encourages the like social behavior and working together. So when you use the currency I spoke of earlier to obtain flashbacks, so there's two types of these memories. There's the flashbacks and the scars. The flashbacks are positive memories, while scars are haunting memories. The scars just come from flipping the coins and they happen to go the wrong way. So if you get to the point where you flipped a single coin 3 times and you still land on tails, you'll gain a scar. And whatever it is, it's the situation you are in, there will be something haunting about it. And another player is going to ask you a leading question as to why this situation haunts you. On the other side of that, the positive way, and you can do this at any time, provided you have the currency, you say, I would like to make a flashback about this situation. And so you hand in that currency to me, and another player is going to ask you a leading question about the current situation. When you have a flashback for a challenge, you get to flip 2 coins. And no matter what happens, the task will automatically succeed. You still could obtain a scar, though, through it. Yeah, so, and there, again, on the sheet, there are a few examples. But let's say that it's nighttime and you're outside of some like notorious gang's hideout and you want to be able to sneak in, and you think like, okay, my character is good at infiltrating areas. You say like, I want to create a flashback about this, and somebody else will ask you a leading question like, oh, you're skilled at this. How did you become skilled at infiltrating, or did you have a mentor? And based on that, you will then tell a story about why you're good at that. So say, yeah, I did. When I was young, I had a mentor who took me into like a traveling circus, and there I became very acrobatic and flexible. So I'm very good at moving silently and getting into tight spaces. So it's that. So you work together and to come up with these stories, and whatever you tell, that's ultimately like you do have control over your character. So if like somebody asks you a leading question that's too specific, then that's where I'll interject and be like, well, it needs to be a little more open-ended than that. So yeah, so those are the flashbacks and the scars. So let's say this is the same scenario, sneaking into a hideout. You didn't create the flashback and you gain a scar from attempting to infiltrate. So somebody else asks, like, why is sneaking into somebody's base haunting to you? And so you might say, like, when I was younger, I was desperate for food, so I went to sneak in to somebody's house, and then something, I got caught, and so I was reprimanded by like the local sheriff, and I had to do community service. So now, like, every time I think about that, then it haunts me. So your characters will never actually perish as part of the game. You're telling this story, and you're supposed to be like heroic, like this traditional like spaghetti western, like I drift into town and I drift out. So the way that your character sort of comes to an end is if your scars outweigh your flashbacks. So when you have more scars than flashbacks, you become so overwhelmed by the past that you abandon the current creed and you just drift out of town. So to counter that, you start off every session with 2 coins. And again, you can spend these at any point to gain a flashback. So like right away, like if for some reason, awesome, you were to flip coins where you would obtain a scar, you can say like, oh, I want to counter that and make a flashback. So you'd still gain the scar, but then you would gain a flashback and be even. Does all of that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So those are the mechanics of Clink. You now know how to play the game, and the group sheet that you have, that'll serve as sort of a reference point. So when I say, flip for it, then you'll just sort of follow the progression, and we can do that together. So you get heads, you succeed, but something goes wrong, there's a minor setback, and so on and so forth. So we'll go through that as the situation arises. Okay, so let's begin on our journey to Rust Barrel. There we go, as the scene changed. So each of you have, you've discovered a notice for this notorious criminal, Ol Lugi, and he's a well-known arsonist, and he's said to be hiding out in this town, Rust Barrel. And Rust Barrel is 100 miles south of the new railroad. So it's really far out west, like they're still building. All of the local law has been moved to guard the train and the building of the rails. So your group here, you've seen the bounty and where you want to tame the lawlessness. You feel compelled to go to Rust Barrel where there are no sheriffs or marshals or anything. And you have the coordinates attached to this bounty of Ol Lugi. And you've seen his picture. He's 70-something, and he's missing a lot of his teeth, and he just looks like sinister. And actually, like in the drawing, it looks like he's spitting. So you arrive on the outskirts of Rust Barrel, which is a rather traditional-looking Western town. Like you see a main street down the center in the distance, and you see 2 rows of buildings. And off to the western side, you do see large walls, and they're blocking off some sort of buildings over there. So on the outskirts here, you've arrived, and behind you, you see riding in the distance in your direction a rather nefarious looking group of individuals, in about a dozen of them. And they're riding fast, and they look intimidating. How do you react?
Go ahead.
I'm going to step out of their way.
Just move aside.
Yep.
Okay, so you start to step aside as if to let them pass by you, but you see that several of them deviate their course and begin riding directly at you. You see them now too begin taking out pistols and waving them wildly in the air.
I'm gonna announce my presence and say, the Acorn wants to know who all of you are who are coming in here, intruding on my roots.
You hear them begin shouting that this is our territory, and anybody who leaves Rust Barrel must be dealt with.
I'm gonna respond and say, "Who says it's your territory?" I'm just gonna stare at him for a while.
All right, great. So that's your first trigger. So you can mark down that you receive a coin for that.
Okay.
Where you've now you've sought information, and as your response, you have stared at them uncomfortably.
Didn't take long to get into that one, huh?
So they begin slowing and just sort of rearing back, and they see this stare, and they don't really know how to react to it, and they start trotting as if they can't cross a certain line where your stare has split the distance, and they start riding back and forth, just staring back rather uncomfortably, and they start looking back as if they should ride away. And then they starts to say, I thought our guns told us it was our territory, but now I'm not sure.
You ought to check on that.
So you see them leaning into one another like they're whispering, and then they just turn and start riding away from the town.
Blackjack, baby.
Oh, that was easy. Time to go home. Thanks, guys.
I tip my hat to Blackjack.
Acorn.
You were tough like a tree there, Blackjack. That was a brilliant move.
Gotta know when to stand your ground, you know?
That's right. We all need to be rooted and thick.
I don't know about the thick part, but sure, rooted. Gotcha.
I guess.
All right. So you.
Yeah, let's head to the town. Let's turn around and. Because you said that was on the western side of the town. Let's head to the town.
Were you on horseback or by foot?
So you're on horseback yourselves.
Okay.
You have ridden from far away. There aren't any other towns in the vicinity.
No, let's go get into town and see what's going on.
All right, so you all start trotting into town, and you do see the light shine at the top of the water tower on the left. And as you get closer, you can see that there are two taverns back to back. One is very clean and well put together, and you see a sign that says Scorpion's Tail, and there's a scorpion carved into it. And you can hear the piano playing inside, and it's a lively place. The tavern or bar directly after it is decrepit and all boarded up. You cannot see anything inside whatsoever. There are cobwebs hanging from the overhead. Beyond that, you can see that there's some sort of bank. You see that there is a jail. And on the left side, you see a few homes. You do see the large wall. And now that you're getting a bit closer, you can see a little above it. And you do see that there's a home, at least one home that towers above that. And there are a few homes on the left, as well as the water tower. And in the distance, there are a few more buildings, and you can see that there's a well. These streets are empty at the moment. There's just the tumbleweed go across, but you do hear the lively playing from inside the Scorpion's Tail.
So the Scorpion is the only like active establishment, or are there like any hotels or anything like that?
So you do see further into the town that there is in fact a hotel that is labeled Sunshine, and across from the hotel there is a stable. And the hotel is extremely clean. Scorpion's Tail is extremely clean. The one bar that's decrepit is it's much scarier looking than everywhere else. And all the other buildings are general, not too much upkeep, but people definitely use them.
I'm gonna go check out the old decrepit bar.
All right. So everybody want to follow suit there?
Yeah, never split the party.
Yeah. I'll follow.
It's gonna go over. I want to kind of just like be peeking in the windows. I'm not gonna go in. I'm just gonna kind of hang for a moment. See if I
Okay,
can
so
idea
so
what's going on in there.
so you'll pass by the Scorpion's Tail first. That's the lively bar. Peeking inside, you see that there are a lot of people in here, and there's merry drinking, and you see somebody walking around with filled mugs and somebody rocking out on the piano. There are people participating in dice and cards, and there's a lot going on there.
That's in the Scorpion.
That's the Scorpion's Tail.
Yeah, okay.
You then get to the next place, and you see that, like, getting a closer look now that you're very close here, you see it says Skeeties, and the sign is about to fall off, and it's all dirty, and you can barely make out the inscription, but now that you're within feet of it, you can see. And there are no open spaces at all around the building. Like, you go to look if there are any like small holes, and the windows are completely boarded up. But going to the door and trying to open it, it does open.
I'm gonna push it open and go in.
All right, so you'll all just leave your horses out front here.
Yeah, I'm gonna tie it up. I'm gonna tie him up. I'm gonna see, so are there any openings in the windows that I can look in?
It's completely
shut.
Yep.
Okay.
Do we hear anything? Can we hear anything coming out of there?
It's quiet inside.
I'm gonna have my hand on my gun as we walk in.
Okay.
I'll lash my horse up in front of the Scorpion's Tail and then head over. But I'm gonna just again kind of looking in the windows, hang by the door, keep an eye out a little bit.
So somebody does see you peeking in and begin tying up the horse, and somebody comes out, and it's a man who's dressed in all black, black hat, black duster, and he comes racing out with a smile on his face as you're pushing open the door for the next bar. He says, "Howdy, you all new in town? You should come check out the Scorpion's Tail. Let that place be alone. You don't want to go in there. We got lively, we got dancing, we got drinks, we got gambling. The Scorpion's Tail is where you want to be."
Friend, it looks like this fine oaken establishment has gone to pieces. What has happened here?
Oh, that's owned by Skeety. He's a little odd. He's very reclusive, and he doesn't like people seeing what he's up to in there. I hear he has a single beer on draft. But if you're looking for something else other than beer, we got that. We've got a variety. Our specialty, in fact, is it's tequila with a Scorpion's Tail in it.
Uh-oh.
And you know it's good.
I'm gonna tell the guy, look, tequila makes me violent and aggressive, so I'm gonna go in here and get a beer. I'm just gonna walk in.
All right, partner, suit yourself. Can I interest the rest of you in the Scorpion's Tail?
Maybe soon, friend. How long has the skeevy been in town?
Oh, he's been there since its inception. That's how he's actually come to have a place here. He had built this place, and he didn't really mesh with the rest of us coming in. And he actually sees the door opening, and he starts to lower his voice, like he doesn't want to be heard throwing shade at him.
How long have you been operating the Scorpion's Tail here? Stare at him for a moment.
So he begins to answer, and then he pauses with noticing your stare. Oh, well, I haven't personally been operating it. Snap is the one who runs the place. She's been here for a few years. She works for Comstock, who who's the mayor of the town, if you will. So as Paka pushes the door open, he hears a voice. Come on inside, friend. Best close the door behind you.
I'll go in, close the door behind me.
So I'm gonna go in too. I'm gonna say, I'll have to check out the scorpion tail soon, but your drink on tap might be the seed of my destruction. So then I head in.
All right.
I'll head in too.
Hold one of those scorpion tails for me, would you?
All right. I'll have Snap make one up. All right. Well, we'll see you soon.
Yeah, no promises, but that'd be great.
All right. Don't stay too long, friend. All right. He retreats into the scorpion's tail very quickly once you've decided all to go inside of Ski's tavern. So you all enter and, listening, close the door behind. And inside, it is dank. It is cold. There's very little light with all the windows blocked out, and there are a couple torches or candles. There's small candles lit that barely light the place. And you see a short, stout man behind a bar with an enormous beard, several feet in length, and looks up. Howdy there. The name's Skeevy. And you can kind of see, like, reaching underneath the bar from your own experience dealing with lawlessness and bringing justice, that he's probably moving his hands over some sort of weapons. And looking at the windows now, you see that they're not boarded up with wood, but with steel.
With steel?
With steel. And you do see behind him there is a single massive cask full of presumably beer. And there aren't any other options. Can I interest you in a draft?
Friend, looks like you've got quite an earthy establishment here. Tell me about yourself.
My name's Skeevy. I've been here for quite some time. You don't usually get outsiders. How is it that you heard of our establishment and town here?
Well, we came in traveling. You know how it is, and
I don't. I've been here for a long, long time.
Well, sure. We understand that. We were coming in on our horses, and I, like a leaf in autumn, have to be blown about. So, we decided to come in to your fine establishment here and say hello and explore wonderful Rust Barrel.
Stop fooling with the man. We're looking for old Loogie.
You're looking for old Loogie. Well, I know exactly where he is. How is it that you come to know that old Loogie's here? Perhaps you found a bounty with the picture, some coordinates. Is that
that guy in black told us.
Oh, Logan Black told you that old Loogie was hiding out here. That is strange that you would say that. So at this point, let's have Paka flip a coin to deceive the man. Heads. All right, you succeed, but something goes wrong or there is a minor setback. So, he believes you. Says, but in the process of him believing you, he begins to sweat and grow very uncomfortable. And he goes very obviously to reach for something underneath the bar.
Skeevy, I'd love a beer. You're reaching for a gun. I got mine here. I'm going to get to mine a lot faster. You're going to get to yours. So can I just have a beer?
Yeah, there's 5 of us and 1 of you. I was just hoping for a drink.
Now, y'all, I'm just a bit parched. Just a little bit parched. And that big cask over there looks mighty refreshing. Just hand me up the biggest glass you have of that.
Frankly, I don't trust anyone who puts scorpion tails in drinks.
Oh, but you're saying you don't trust Logan Black, even though he told you about old Loogie. And he begins filling up very large mugs. But he's looking very nervously over his shoulder as he's filling them up and placing them on the bar.
I survived this long because I don't trust anyone.
We may be
So where is he looking?
So he keeps looking back at the rest of you while he's filling up the mugs.
That's it.
I think we may be kindred spirits there about not trusting anybody. So he lays out 5 filled to the brim mugs, and he shuffles a little bit over to the corner so that he's not within reach of you as you go to pick up your mugs.
So as I pick up my mug, I don't drink yet, but I want to ask him, like, so tell me about Rust Barrel.
Well, Rust Barrel is run by Comstock. She does a real good job. There's some fine folk here. I don't interact with them much. And as he's talking, it's becoming clear that his responses, though positive, seem like he's trying to tell you what you want to hear.
Friend, shall we speak in a more leafy location? One that's more private and, say, shaded.
I mean, it's pretty dark in here.
So you asking him to leave, the level of anxiousness is like he's at the point of shaking with you asking him to take a walk with you out of the establishment.
So are there other rooms behind him? Do we see other doors?
There,
Yes.
you
Or
do
upstairs?
see that there are no stairs up, but there is a single door behind him.
Can we hear any motion behind the door? Like any noises at all? Do I need to flip a coin for that?
A coin.
Okay. All right. So that is tails and heads.
Oh, so would you like to make a flashback? So if you don't have a flashback, you'd only flip 1 coin. But if you do have a flashback, you'll flip 2.
Yeah, no, I won't use a flashback. So would I use like one of the 2 I had, or
So just flip 1 new
just
one.
flip again? Okay. Tails.
Okay.
So that's a scar, isn't it?
No. So the first tails is another player will describe how the situation gets worse. So let's have our predictor describe how the situation gets worse.
So he's been looking at. So just so we got the situation here, he's been looking at this door, and
Yeah, so you've come in. He made sure that you closed the door behind you as you entered. He asked you how you came to this place, and you said you're after Olugi. Then Paka told him and successfully deceived him that it was, in fact, the man in black who told you all about Olugi. And in doing so, he began getting nervous. And then you asked him to go somewhere separate, while also telling him that if he's reaching for a weapon, you'll get there much faster. He's at the point where he's so anxious, he's kind of like shaking. And at this point, the acorn is listening and like looking around to see if he can detect anything else going on inside of the building.
so maybe from that door, Skeeve has some reinforcements come out.
Okay, so you do actually. So then, yeah, you'll hear that from beneath, actually, that you hear rustling underneath, and you do believe that these are people working alongside Skeevy that will then somehow surround you. You don't see them, but you hear the rustling underneath the floor. So now you flip another coin.
I'm flipping another coin?
Yes.
Okay. Heads.
Heads. So now I describe how the situation gets even worse.
Oh, great.
Okay. So you hear behind you the door somehow lock on its own.
The door we came in through?
Yes. You hear very obvious and loud locking sound.
The Lord will command his loving kindness in the daytime, and in the night his song shall be with me in my prayer unto the God of my life.
Excellent. So that was the first time that trigger happened. So
yes,
gain a coin. Okay, and now you flip one more time.
Tails.
Tails. Okay, so you fail. The situation is now much worse, and you gain a scar. So before gaining the scar, you probably want to spend a coin to gain a flashback, so that
Sure.
you're not overwhelmed by your scars right away.
Okay. So I'll spend a coin then.
Okay, so in this case, so somebody else will ask you a leading question about how, while in let's say it's just an enclosed, dangerous space, you somehow succeeded in the past. Would anybody else like to ask a leading question to the acorn here?
I don't know. I thought that leading question was pretty good.
How about you had a situation where you were backed in the corner and the odds were against you, literally in the corner, and you had to get out of it. You were out of bullets. What did you do? How did you get out?
Years ago, in my travels, I was in a town called Pebble, and there were 4 people who had me backed up into a corner, and I had no idea what I was going to do at first, but then, like a tall tree in the middle of the forest, I knew exactly what was going to happen. And I saw the wall next to me, and I stretched out my arms like branches, ran up the wall, backflipped into the air, kicked one of them in the head, and said, "I am the seed of your coming autumn," and ran off into the night.
Okay. So
Brilliant.
yeah. So that's your flashback. Now, when backed into a corner, yes, bravo. So when backed into a corner with no bullets, like a knowing tree, you ran up a wall and acrobatically kicked your assailant in the head, which then you were able to escape. So in closed, tight situations, you have, if this comes up in the future, apparently you're some sort of parkour martial artist. So going forward, when a situation like that arises, you will flip 2 coins.
Okay.
So that's the positive situation here. So now you'll also develop a scar for a different memory when you were in a dangerous enclosed space and something about that haunts you. So would anybody else like to ask a leading question about that?
When was the time you were in an enclosed space and you had to be rescued?
Oh, it still gives me nightmares to this day. But I was in another town called Another Town. And there were 4 assailants who surrounded me in the dark and began punching me as if I were an oak tree slated for destruction and to be used for the wood that build towns all over the coming west. And then they sat there and said, we have defeated you, Acorn. You will never sprout again." And I sat there lying in the corner, shouting, "No, no, no, no." Oh, the nightmares. Oh, the trees that have not yet been born. Oh.
Okay, so what I gather from that is when you are surrounded by people, you lose your ability to stretch out and do your acrobatic moves. And thus, when you become surrounded, you freeze up and the people come at you like lumberjacks. So yes, I'm making notes of these towns, Pebble and Another Town. Okay, so where the situation is now much worse, suddenly one of the floorboards bursts open and you see that there are several guns pointed up at you.
Now
They don't
this ain't nice. Why'd you be doing this to us? We just need a glass of beer.
So Stevie again he's kind of frozen. He's unsure if he should say something for them to fire or if he should pause. But your words are starting to. He's no longer shaking. He still looks uneasy, but he's unsure.
No, you just keep on pouring that beer and telling us your story, and nothing bad's gonna happen.
So where are we in relation to him exactly? So like we have the so the guns are coming up out of the floor, right? There's something behind him. Like if we were to like grab him, right? Like that, like there's no access point, like there's nothing that we could
So yeah, it's just kind of like an open room.
Okay.
Listen, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. If this is about money, we could pay.
I never leave an unpaid tab. Usually I never have to pay for a tab.
Listen,
So
friend.
he's beginning to feel easier when you start talking about like giving him money and being less threatening, and perhaps we did get off on the wrong foot. Just stand down. And the floorboard is, you see a small hand take the floorboard and pull it back down.
Listen, friend. Currency, it's like acorns in autumn. We have it all. We'd be happy to talk to you about something, so no worries. Just like my friend Blackjack here said, nothing to worry.
Oh, so you've come to town already having money. Okay. Oh. I'm sorry.
Unless you're hiding old Loogie down there, then we do have a problem. But
no,
I was just here for a drink. I mean, you did say you knew where he was, so hopefully that's not down there. Because anyway,
no. Hey, that no mind. Old Loogie is down there. Miss. I'm sorry we got off on the wrong foot. I'm sorry for being so violent in front of you. Let's all come together now and just drink the beer and we'll start fresh.
Are there bar stools at the bar?
There are bar stools that are rather dusty.
I'm just gonna jump up on one because I'm short and I need to jump. And just sit there. Is the beer any good?
So drinking the beer, it is rather stale. It's probably been sitting there for quite some time.
All right, I'll make a good face.
it's not like wine. It doesn't get better.
Friend, before I imbibe, I'd like to know, did you brew this yourself, or did you acquire it from somewhere else?
Oh, I brought it in a long time ago now.
Yeah, I could tell that. Definitely.
Sorry about
Not
that.
insult our host.
No, sorry. Not insulting you, just the freshness of the place.
Yeah, yes. All right. I'm sorry. I've been real on edge because Comstock's grown a little more bold with the town, and I'm rather outspoken against her. You wouldn't mind if I said negative things about Comstock, would you?
Oh, not at all. Be our guest.
Oh, honey, we don't know Comstock, so just unload all you want. Here, you know what? Why don't you grab yourself an ale and come around and sit with us and just tell us all about it, honey?
That's right, friend. There's no need to get wooden here.
All right. So he pours himself a mug, and he's still slow moving, but he makes a point to pull a stool and sit beside Fanny Manny May, and he sits there. He does not smell good. You can tell that he himself he's not bathed in quite some time.
I start to retch a little bit, but but in order to be so I don't come off as impolite, I'm going like this, and then I just go, and then I'm like, okay.
So, do you mind if I see or maybe you don't have it anymore, but the bounty poster? Do any of you have one?
I slide him a copy of the bounty poster.
All right, so he takes it, and right away he looks at it and he just breathes this like sigh of relief. All right. This is actually, I sent this poster. Old Loogie, he ain't real. I just try to bring people to the town. It's a code. When you start saying that it was the man in black who told you about old Loogie, I was worried that they knew that I was sending out these secret missives. But I think I can trust y'all now.
Yeah, I don't think I can trust you now.
Oh.
Hold up. Let us hear what this is about.
Like I said, I don't really trust anyone much.
That's right, yeah.
Nothing personal.
Okay.
I'm happy to listen.
Thank you, friend. Thank you. You see, Comstock, she owns the town. And when I say owns the town, I mean she owns the town. What? She lives on the other side of that wall you saw coming in. She has this big, fancy mansion. She is monopolized the silver mine that she has down there. And anybody who doesn't work for her of their own free will, she tricks into working for her. And she enforces this and keeps tabs on everybody, makes sure everybody's happy with, say, her bodyguards, I'll call them. And they're known as Reach. There are 5 of them. And there's 5. There's the man in black, Logan Black. He's known as the Thumb. He's the thumbs up. He's the face man. He makes sure that everybody's happy, and he's real amicable. The Pointer. I've never seen him, but I know that he's a dead shop sniper. The Middle. I've only seen glimpses of him. He's real loud and real angry. You know him as Rage Tongue. And there's the Ringer, Alejandro. I have seen him, a newcomer who came into town, and he wears all these rings on his hands. He's a real big guy, and he slaps them around. And after that, I haven't seen him. Then there's the Pinky, Mr. Parker. He's real charming. I've seen him once or twice. He wears very fine clothes. The finest threads I've seen in my life. And they're all about Rust Barrel. Again, I wish I could help you more, but keep a close watch on me because I know the truth.
Which is what?
That Comstock's corrupt. That anybody who comes is in danger. And anybody who lived here previously, unless they agree to work for her, then she makes them work for her. All of you here, you're all at risk. She'll find a way, if you stay in town, to make you work for her. The only way is to get to her. It's the only way to stop is to get to her. But she has the 5 bodyguards, and she's built that wall. And we can't get in until we take care of the Reach.
How have you avoided it? Oh, I forgot my voice. How have you avoided it?
Well, I don't leave, and you may see that I've secured the place. And as you recall, the windows themselves are boarded up with steel. And there are people underneath the floorboards with guns. I haven't left. I don't even know how long it's been since I last saw the sun.
Who's under the floor?
I've managed to secure a few people who didn't want to work for Comstock, that had everything stolen from them. I hide them here, where I can keep them safe. But we're running low on supplies. The food, it's spoiling. There's not much water left.
Well,
How
friend,
long? How long has this been going on?
It's been months at least. I've grown desperate. That's why I began sneaking out. The brave few who have managed to ride out of town and deliver these secret missives, either they be bounties or claims of funds, some way I can get outsiders to come to the town. The lawmen have all but abandoned it for the train up north. That's why they don't do anything about it.
well, friend, you've spoken to the right people.
He takes another deep breath. He's rocking a little bit, but it's like relief. It's good news. Good news.
So,
I can tell that you can take care of yourselves.
Why don't you just leave and never look back?
I would, but I've made a promise to keep secure all of the people that I have underneath that can't get out. We have some old, some young that I wouldn't be able to take with me.
How many people are down there?
Well, friend, I don't want to give that away, but too many.
So you want us to do what exactly? Storm a castle?
No. To do that, you'd have to deal with the Reach openly, and they're all trained. They're all trained combatants. We want to get to them one by one if you can, and somehow get inside. To do it, just to storm it, I wouldn't want to put you in that type of danger. If one of you can get at least one of they each carry something on them. I don't know what, but they all flash something to get inside of the walls.
So, friend, we would love to make sure Comstock is put in some nice wooden oak stalks. How can we find these Reach members?
If you go about town with eyes wide open, the only one I know about is Logan Black. I know he likes to hang out in the Scorpion's Tail. I think I may have even heard his voice when you first opened the door. I know that he dresses all in black, and he'd be real friendly. But
Tell me, has he got a weakness, a fondness for anything you know of?
well, I know that he's real fond of the signature drink over there, and the owner. That's why he likes to hang out in there. Snap the Crimson. She's real pretty. You'll know her by her red hair. I know he's real fond of her, and he's always happy to be around her.
Woman in drink sounds like a fine man.
Indeed.
The easiest to fool, if you ask me.
That's great. That's great that you feel so confident in being able to take down one of the members. Use caution, though. Snap is said to have some sort of magical powers that those she points at suddenly drop dead. But there's always a gunshot sound when she makes this point with her finger.
Great.
So let's say we bump off the 5 of them, we kill Comstock, we storm the castle, we free the town. Then what? What do you get out of it?
Well, just the safety and well-being of all the members is all I care about.
All right, what do we get out of it?
you're welcome to rights to the silver mine. I mean, take as much money, anything that's in her mansion. You're welcome to it. We're certainly not looking to trade one tyrant for another, but any sort of money that we can provide for you, you're welcome to it. Man, I'll give you my building if it just means that the town can be free.
Myers, what's your character's name again?
Tim's is Paco.
I look at Paco and go, the Lord's work needs to be done here, and you are concerned with money?
Yes.
I'm gonna stick something on the bar, and I'm gonna keep my hand over it, and I'm gonna slide it over to Ski here.
Okay, so you're trying to keep it hidden from the rest of the party?
I'm just keeping it concealed for the moment. I'm trying to think if there's maybe a way to do a flashback or something here. I don't know how that works exactly. Like maybe trying to like build a little backstory on my character. Is that how flashbacks are supposed to be used, or is it more?
You can use a flashback at any point for anything that seems relevant at all.
Okay.
So like, yeah, some making deals with people, just like making people trust you. But what did you have in mind?
So I'm gonna have a sheriff's badge concealed under my hand, and I'm trying to think of like flashing back to maybe where I got that from before, maybe not doing the right thing when it needed to be done, and somebody fell as a result of it, and I've kind of regretted it since.
Okay, so where you did something in the past that was breaking the law that you regret, and as that's kind of what attracted you to the creed of like taming the lawlessness, and why perhaps it's easy to get people to trust that you want to do the right thing now.
Yeah, I think more maybe I didn't do something as like a criminal or law, but just didn't act, like was more selfish. Just, I'm not going to help. Why am I going to help?
Sounds like he's trying, I don't want to butt in here, but it sounds like he's trying to basically ask, when was the time I did the right thing for the wrong reason?
Does that sound? Or you were too passive?
Yeah, that's one thing. More too passive. I didn't do the right thing, and like somebody lost their life because of it.
And now you want to do the right thing, and other people know that you want to do the right thing.
Sure.
So, yeah. So okay. So now somebody will ask. I guess like the most obvious question is, what was this thing that you were passive about in the past? Unless somebody else has another type of question about this scenario.
When was a time that you could have stopped wrongdoing but didn't?
Perfect.
Sure. I'm picturing this scene kind of where you see Blackjack in his overcoat, black hat, 2 6-shooters, and he's just looking over at somebody who's fallen in the street after a duel, and the other person's leaving, and he walks over and he bends down and he picks up the sheriff's badge off of their chest and kind of puts it in his pocket and walks away. This being after he asked for help to stop somebody in town, and Blackjack is like, what's in it for me? You ain't got no money. I'm not going to just do the right thing. And then he sees a good man dead in the street, and he decides he picks that up, and he's kept it with him. Okay,
great. Yeah. So I think that tells a lot more about Blackjack. And so now whenever any situation arises, and you could, if I don't say anything, you could argue about it, that's relevant to that story, you would then get to flip 2 coins.
Okay.
So here, where you're kind of like showing him the badge, and you're convincing him that you're on his side, you would get to flip 2 coins.
Yeah, so I'm trying to slide the badge across, and I'm just gonna leave it in front of him.
Okay, so he sees the badge, and he's like confident now that like you're on his side, and that he wants to support you in however he can.
Ski, that's yours now. Whatever happens here, I don't know. Who can say, really? But someone's going to have to take some charge if things go south.
Thank you. And he reaches underneath the bar slowly, and he pulls out a shiny double-barrel shotgun, and he places it in front of you, and then says, "If this might be of some help, I'd like to offer it."
Anything special about this weapon I need to know, or just, kind of fond of 2 I got already?
Oh, well, it quacks. It packs quite a punch, but it has extra long range. But other than that, I don't know what else to tell you.
I appreciate it.
I'm fond of it, but if it can help the cause, if there's anything I can get you that I may have on me to help, I'd be more than happy to donate.
Better beer would be great next time.
I'm all for another round.
Well, Skeevy, I've got a shotgun with 2 barrels. I'd love to have 2 shotguns with 2 barrels. I'll take it.
All right then. Here you
Oh.
Here. And he starts pouring more of the beer. It's like, if you want it, I'll give you as much as I got.
Nah, I reckon I don't really want it. I was just saying, you asked if there's anything I wanted, and it was... Anyway.
Hey, Conrad, is that shotgun loaded?
It is loaded, yep.
Can anybody you got hiding help us? What you got hiding below here?
Oh, they're the old and young. They wouldn't be too mobile, and they might be conspicuous. I certainly ask for volunteers, but I've been sheltering them because they struggle to protect themselves.
Yeah, fellas, I don't know there's much more we could do here.
Hey, Skeevy, do you have a hacksaw?
A hacksaw.
I don't like the sound of that. I'm gonna start heading towards the door.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Friend, I think it's time for us to investigate the scorpion.
I would agree. I think I need to look at Logan Black a little bit closer.
Yeah, so he looks around for the closest thing to a hacksaw he can find, and he does have a large dinner knife that he offers you.
Trying to butter us up, friend.
You're not gonna cut down a mighty oak with that little thing.
Yeah, you're spreading it on a little thin there, John.
Man, y'all jokesters. So, all right. So you'll head out of the tavern, close the door behind you, and make your way over to the Scorpion's Tail. As you exit, you do see that all of your horses are gone.
Great.
Whose brother gave it to tie up the horses there?
Looking, I think it was Blackjack who first tied up a horse. I could be wrong.
So do we hear, is the Scorpion still like very crowded, like a lot of stuff going on in here?
Yes. Yep. Still very lively. You still hear the piano. A new song. It's not the same song on repeat. But yes, still a jovial place.
So I'm gonna walk in. I'm gonna start like kind of dancing like this. And
Immediately start dancing into the place. All right.
Oh, yeah. And I'm gonna say, did he introduce himself as Logan? Right, I think. Or
So
did he not? He
didn't
did not introduce himself.
He
Right.
didn't say his name. No.
So I'm just gonna say, so I think my hesitance about trying the famed drink here has been chopped away. I'm ready to party, so I'm gonna see if I can attract his attention.
Okay, so yes, dancing into the establishment and shouting that, he turns and he immediately brings over the signature drink.
I'm going to stay by the front door.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say, friend, I don't think you gave me your name earlier. I am the Acorn.
Oh, greetings, man. My name's Logan. Pleased to meet you.
Great to meet you, and thank you for your fine welcome to this wonderful establishment. You might say, I got nothing. I just want to say hello.
That's great. I already prepared a number of drinks for you and your friends. So I got all the signature drinks ready to go. The Acorn, who are your compatriots here?
So I am here with my good friends Blackjack, how do you say it again?
You can just call me the preacher if it makes it easier.
So I'm here with my friends Blackjack, the preacher, Paco, and Miss Fanny May. Good to see you.
Pleased to meet all your acquaintance. He hands out, going to each one of you individually, handing you the signature Scorpion's Tail drink.
I'm standing way back at the door, so I don't get near those drinks.
So
as he's
Does he smell the tequila?
Yeah, there should be a trigger, right? Or no?
That should be.
Are you waving him off before he gets to you?
Oh yeah. I'm trying to stay away from him and the bar.
Okay, so he started walking towards you, but you kind of
give him the no, I'm good.
I also want to be outside. I don't want to go in the bar yet.
Okay, all right.
After we left the other place.
Sure.
So I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna ask him to tell me more about Rust Barrel, and I'm gonna mention that to thank him for tipping us off about across the way, and say that guy just seems like a real weirdo.
I know, right? He is so strange. I'm glad that you listened to me. But anyway, welcome. And so he looks past you dancing, and he says, as you said it, Miss Fanny Mary, and he goes to give you one of the signature drinks.
I'm sorry, I don't drink liquor. I appreciate it though, I really do, because it's hard for me to turn down a drink from somebody like you, but I can't drink liquor.
Oh, is there anything you prefer? I can get you anything you like.
Oh man, well, you know what? I think just a glass of water would be just so delightful.
Oh, sure. And the way he kind of switched gears there from the acorn was like real obvious. Like he heard the initial introductions, but then when he really got a look at Fanny Manny May, then it was almost like, excuse me. And like go
one side, out of my road. I have business to conduct here.
yeah. So right away he goes back, gets the water, and he comes right back over, hands you the glass of water.
Well, I just can't thank you enough.
So Miss, what brings you to our fine establishment, our fine town of Ross Barrel here?
Well, we're just traveling through. There's just so much to see out here and so many new things going on. We just thought we'd travel through and just see what's happening.
Oh, all right, fair enough. I hope that you didn't run into too much trouble. We have some trouble with a gang who likes to ride around the town. We're safe in here. Don't you worry, man. But they chase people around, and I've known that they rob people. I hope that they didn't rob you on your way in.
Oh, heavens, no. They were such nice gentlemen. We had no problem at all.
Oh, that's interesting to hear. Interesting that they were nice, but a nice lady like yourself. Can understand why.
Well, have you talked that much to the other gentlemen that are with me? They have so much to tell you too.
Really? Oh, all right. I see one of y'all's waiting by the door, another one's outside. But I guess I'll talk to the preacher here. You seem be a little friendlier than your friends out in the back. Mr. the preacher, you're traveling with Miss Fanny Manny May. How'd you two meet?
Well, we met up in Pebble. I've been wandering from town to town, spreading the word of the Lord to the western frontier here.
Oh, yes. Well,
He's just been such an inspiration along this entire trip. It's just been delightful to have him along.
Well, perhaps you can set up a little chapel here in Rossborough. We don't have any people of the cloth out here, so we're not too established in those ways. Not that anybody isn't God-fearing folk out here, just don't have any. Can maybe you can stay the night over at the Sunshine Hotel, and tomorrow, we can talk about setting you up in a more permanent place.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome.
So who else is in the bar? I mean, there's a bunch of people, but any of them look just completely out of place.
So everybody who's here looks like they're well off. So based on like what you heard from Stevie, you assume that they're probably friendly with Comstock, and that they're not being forced to work for her. So the people here are all quite jovial. Like none of it appears to be fake. It all seems like genuine happiness. You do see the owner of the establishment, they are told, of Snap. So there's like the one woman with just like bright red hair that stands out, and she's walking around making sure that everybody's happy and taking drink orders. But in general, the people gambling and talking seem like they have no troubles whatsoever.
I'm gonna go up to Paco there by the door, be like, "You coming in or not? You're seen."
I would stay here, away from the bar. I'm better here.
Yeah, we don't need another. What happened back there in Westbrook?
Yeah, the stale beer is much better. I don't want that tequila. That's bad. It's bad news.
Oh, I remember Westbrook so well. So many funerals.
So like out of game question, like, is there obviously like in D&D there'd be like detect magic and stuff. Like, I'm a little afraid to drink the tequila. Is there like would I coin flip for this? Because I'm afraid it's gonna have nefarious stuff.
That's why I went with the water.
I'd say probably wouldn't be detect magic, but yeah, there probably would be a check or something.
Definitely. So, where it would be like a challenge where like you're trying to detect like poison maybe within the drink. And yeah, you would flip coins. I can think of like relevant flashbacks would be like you've possibly consumed poison in the past, but you were able to overcome it, or you've worked with poisons yourself. I mean, there are a number of routes you could go.
Okay.
In terms of making like a relevant flashback, but as it stands, you would just flip the one coin and to try to detect if there was something nefarious with your drink.
I'm guessing it would make sense to get another flashback, right? To build on that.
Sure, if that's what you'd like to do.
Okay, so I'll do that's 2 points, right?
Yep. So this would be your second flashback. So you hand your second coin. So until you have the opportunity to earn 2 more coins, one from the starting trigger, and then one from the new trigger you'll make.
Okay.
So you'll turn in a coin, and so now you want a flashback with detecting nefarious intent with the drink. So who would like to ask a leading question for this?
Why, Acorn, have you ever had a problem with your drinks before?
Well, years ago, I was in a town called Yet Another Town.
Is this a second another town, or is this
No, this town is called Yet Another Town.
yet another town? Yes.
And I went to a bar, and they asked me if I wanted something to drink, to wet my whistle, as it were, to be watered like a young oak in the middle of the summer. And I sniffed it, and I sniffed it again, and I sniffed it one more time, and I realized that maybe within this drink was some kind of dark substance, something that would poison the roots, kill the tree, kill me. And I put the drink back and left Yet Another Town, went on my way.
All right. So I would think that with your 3 sniffs, so that kind of would be your way of detecting poisons. Where you sniff 3 times, then you really get the olfactory senses going, and you can detect poisons. So,
like sniff 3 times in the liquor if it's poison.
yeah, yes. So you sing this while you're sniffing.
So I have to.
So you'll flip 2 coins to detect if there is something nefarious about this drink.
All right, 1 second. Tails and heads.
Okay.
Ooh.
So a flat success, you pull it off. So you do your little dance, sniff it 3 times, and you do in fact detect that there's something nefarious within your drink. You suspect that it's something to put you to sleep.
So I'm just going to sniff it again, and I'm going to tell Mr. Black that, ooh, I thought this might water my roots, but I think this might be a little strong for me.
Oh. So he notices you sniffing, and faintly you notice just like a small twitch. Like he's not quite sure if you're onto him or not. But he goes back to acting like everything is on the level. Perhaps I can get you another drink, friend.
Do you have anything more mild?
Oh, sure. I can get you a beer of some sort if you like. I assure you, it's much, much better than whatever is next door.
Oh, well, in that case, I may have to sample your beer.
So he goes over and he talks to Snap directly, and he asks if she can get a beer. And so she walks on over, pours the beer, and you're watching, and she looks over her shoulder, and she sees that you're watching her keenly, and she doesn't make any sort of moves, and very clearly hands it to you. This time around, you feel confident. You do your sniff. You won't have to flip this time. You know that it's clean. Yeah.
So I start sipping and just saying, thank you. I thought I had a more wooden constitution, but I guess I don't.
Oh, no problem. So she looks around now. She's kind of noticing the newcomers for the first time. She sees over at the back, there's Blackjack and Paco in the back, and she's looking over, and she just kind of motions like, "Can I get you anything?"
I'm gonna shake my head no.
Well, you have a good time out here, then, I guess, by yourself.
All right, so Blackjack's gonna come on inside.
Yeah, unless you have you got a plan here, or you just standing, being a wallflower, if you will.
I'm just staying away from the bar.
Fair enough.
Right. Probably not a bad idea.
Blackjack, do you want to go chat with what's her name again?
Snap.
Maybe we should go get to know Snap over here. Preacher, you want to come too? Fanny May.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Is there an upstairs to this place, or is it just one story?
So there is an upstairs, but there's only 2 rooms up there. The stairs go up and back, and you can tell there's just a couple small rooms.
Like for lodging, that kind of thing, or is it?
I have a feeling that it's for things of a more nature that would be best done behind closed doors.
So the preacher's words ring true to you. So Snap walks over. What can I get you? To Blackjack.
Oh, howdy there. Now I see what all the fuss is about.
He's flattered.
This is your establishment here, I take it?
Oh, yes, this is my establishment. Owned it for about a year now.
Well, honey, I gotta say I'm impressed. It's a nice looking place you got going here.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a lot of hard work, but I do my best to keep everybody happy.
Must not get too many visitors all the way out here.
It's true. It's true. So we got to work extra hard to keep the locals happy. Unfortunately, there's a gang that roams outside the town, and they can scare people away. But those who do get here, they tend to stay. And one of my jobs to make them happy.
No, I see. What about old man in black over there? Young man in black. The man in black. You make him happy? You know what I'm saying? Stare at her for a little while. A little uncomfortably, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm asking the question.
Is it like an open mouth stare? Like,
no, it's my trigger.
Yeah.
So whenever I ask for a question, looking for an answer, I just kind of stare uncomfortably for a little too long.
So between you and me, he wishes. He tries real hard, but not for me.
Still just staring at her.
So she starts looking around. Can I get anybody else anything?
Oh yeah, sorry about that. My friends tell me I gotta stop doing it. I don't even realize when I'm doing it. It's just kind of like, gone there for a minute.
Get any Tory Borealis teas out here?
We have tea. I don't know that brand. Can I get you tea?
Yes, the tea would be lovely, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, make it 2 of those, man. I didn't realize I had a hankering for a good cup. I mean, is it tea or is it tea? Because a lot of people say they have tea, like they say they've got ale, but anyway.
Yeah, we do have some Eastern tea. It actually comes in from the Western port, and we import it special. Does that sound to your liking?
That sounds lovely, thank you.
So she goes behind the bar and she gets a couple of tea leaves, and you see that she takes a candle and she starts heating up the leaves in the cups. Comes back over with the tea. Well, I hope it's to your liking.
I'm sure it'll be fine, thank you.
What's Justin Black doing while they're talking to her at the bar?
Logan.
So since you're keeping an eye on him, he looks like he's just kind of going about the business, but you notice that he's from all angles, making sure to keep a sharp eye on the group. He's just kind of going back and forth between everybody, but he has been subtle about it. But with you kind of just standing in the back, watching him, you can tell.
So, what time of the day is this now?
So it's been a few hours. It's starting to get late. It's around dinner time.
Where do we get a good place to eat and sleep around here?
Oh, the Sunshine Hotel. We are very proud of it. It makes everybody happy, and everyone who works there is real happy. And there's a chef there that does wonders.
And it's not full? It's not booked up?
No, there's some space available, which you're based on what you heard from Ski before, you're suspicious that, right, and you're asking the right questions, like, oh, like how come it's not a full place? And she's her answer is like, obviously based on what you know, it's like, oh no, yeah, like there just happen to be spots.
I'm gonna kind of go like with Snap there, and just be like, "This is a mighty fine cup of tea. I appreciate it. What are you doing later tonight? Got a little place of your own?"
So
is that a trigger question?
I was gonna say,
now I stare at her awkwardly for a moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, so then you stare at her. So I'm going to deem this a challenge.
Okay.
Oh, lovely.
So you'll
And
go.
I'm trying to like laugh and like kind of get a little close to her. I'm trying to like, knowing that Logan's probably watching us, like just try and maybe irk him a little bit.
Okay, so the goal is more so to bother him than to necessarily charm her.
Yeah, I'm not actually trying to like swoon her or anything like that. More so, it's more just like
he's trying to make the other guy jealous. Nice.
Yeah, coming in, new guy in town, chatting up, that kind of thing.
Perfect. So, especially the way that you stare after a question like that, he stops, and then Paco really sees that. He sees that he's real irritated by the way that he's perceiving you to be just gawking at her. So you can see that he's getting itchy, it looks like. And
the friendly demeanor is going away.
Yeah, the friendly demeanor of the thumb is starting to melt away a little bit. And you see the trench coat kind of swaying a little bit, and you do see that he is armed under the trench coat. Paco does notice this.
I'm going to wander over towards him just very slowly.
Oh,
Okay.
Well, he's distracted by me, huh?
Yeah, so you're distracting him for sure. And so Paco is walking over, and I'll say that doesn't require a check, because you've already held his attention. So Paco walks over. The other party members notice Paco walk over, though. So you'll get right up to him,
All right.
unless you want to keep some feet between you.
No, go right up to him. I'm just going to lean into him a little bit and say, Logan, that guy, he screwed every woman in the last bar we were in. And I just walk back towards the door.
Oh, thanks for the backup, really. Just
I
poke
just want
the
to
bear.
shoot him.
Okay, so I will have you flip coins for this, and it's not so much the making him act. It's sort of more if his ire is focused or just blind rage.
One coin or two?
One, unless you would like to make a flashback.
No, not just one.
Tails. Okay. So another player describes how the situation gets worse.
This is simple. The waitress walks by with whiskey on the tray.
You mean tequila?
Tequila on the tray, sorry.
Nice. Yeah. I like that.
Sounds like a plan to me.
You came out of the corner, you went over to him, right? And you got closer to the bar, which you were trying to avoid.
Yes.
So
This is
I
perfect.
smell the tequila go by.
You smell the tequila, which will then activate the trigger.
I'm just going to push Logan out of the way and make my way straight towards the bar.
All right. So you've now the trigger behavior. So you earn a coin, and now you will flip again. Tails. Okay. So you fail and must now deal with a worse situation. So again, the failure isn't that you were enraging him. It's more so that you were trying to have him focus in on Blackjack. So now when you're pushing him and moving to the bar, you have just sort of activated this blind rage in Logan. And he pulls out both of his guns. And so now you can tell that he's angry. He just takes one shot into the air and yeah, so there's the trigger.
There's the trigger, man. I'm down. All right.
So you'll earn a coin.
So I get another coin.
So you earn a coin. You lie on the ground at the sound of the gunshot.
Yep.
And now you can tell that he's just kind of going to wildly fire the other one. So how will the group react to this situation?
I'm gonna immediately jump and I'm gonna because I'm kind of close to Snap, and I'm gonna just grab her and tackle her to the ground and get down to the ground real quick as the first wild shot goes off. Immediately, just attempting to protect her, really more than anything.
Okay, nice. So Blackjack will see this, bring her to the ground, and look like he's shielding.
And I'm gonna draw and then be looking from there of what's
happening.
I'm
gonna jump over behind the bar.
Okay.
If he's firing weapons, right, and there are people in here, is it getting too hot? Is that going to trigger me too, or is it?
Is it getting hot? Yeah, let's say it's getting hot in here. The general rage of Logan Black, as well as Paco getting a little aggressive after smelling the tequila. Yeah, we'll do the trigger for you as well. So you'll earn a coin, and remind me again exactly how you behave.
So I curl up and just start shouting, "Water me, water me!"
Yeah. So tree monologues.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, and that'll leave the preacher. How will you act?
Has he actually shot at any of us so far?
So the shot fired was into the ceiling, and now he's just, you can't tell where it's going to stop, but he's swinging his other gun around.
My friend. Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who has a hasty temper exacts folly.
Nice. So you're attempting to now reel him back in and stop him from firing. So I'll have you flip a coin for that, unless you'd like to make a flashback.
Actually, yes, I think I will make a flashback.
Okay, awesome. So who hasn't asked a leading question yet? Paco.
So the last time you tried to calm down someone with a gun, what happened?
Nice.
Wasn't that like in the bar next door?
True.
Yeah,
20 minutes ago.
I told you he works with
few
older.
moments earlier.
I told you he works with older adults. That's going to be the hardest thing for them to remember.
Well, I suppose since he's heard of that, I will mention another time that tea brand I mentioned earlier comes from a town that I was in once called Torre Borealis, and it was actually a very similar situation, believe it or not. these two men were fighting over this woman in a saloon. And I actually had to talk. I actually had to have them sit down. And it looked like a massive gun battle was going to break out. But very much like I have done here, I sat them down and said, look, yes, you can be very quick to anger, but at the same time, then you're going to do something that you will regret at some point. We need to slow down, take a few deep breaths, and talk about this like people who truly love peace. And I did actually manage to get them to lower their weapons.
Perfect. So the calmness of your presence, how calm your voice is, and the righteousness of your words have had this impact on people in the past like that. And so you will flip 2 coins here to calm him down.
I'm using an app to do this, so just give me a minute to fire the app. Double heads.
Double heads. So not only do you completely succeed, you gain an additional benefit. So you make the motion to him to make peace, and so he kind of stops. The gun's no longer waving around. He comes and he's looking at both of his guns. He looks over at Snap on the ground, and you can tell that he's thinking like, I may have just accidentally shot Snap if I had gone wild, and that would be the thing that he regrets. You say like, you may do something that you regret here. So he stops and he puts both of his guns away, and you immediately quell him, and you gain the additional benefit that he immediately trusts you, and he comes over and says, you know, the preacher, you stopped me from doing something that I think I would have regret. That I see over there that Snap's on the ground, and I can't let outsiders' words influence me. I'm sure that this man Paco over here is an upstanding gentleman. No need to go into a blind rage. I'm sure that Blackjack himself, he's still struggling with coming to terms with maybe he isn't trying to charm her, but he's like, it's okay though. Like, I'll let things play out as they are. Thank you. Thank you, preacher.
Pleasure.
So he looks around and he apologizes to the rest of the bar, and he goes and he starts to walk up the stairs calmly.
I see the tequila from behind the bar, up on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm going to jump up and get it. Bring it back down behind the bar.
Awesome. All right, so you snag it, you bring it down, and you have it behind the bar. Nobody notices you snag it. You're still watching Logan Black go up the stairs.
Well, I get up off the ground, brush off my impeccably white dress, and adjust my impeccably white large sun vacation hat, and ask, what's her name? The Snap. If I could have another glass of water, please.
Short for Snap Antha.
It's so she's yeah, I think I could use a glass of water too, and she kind of looks up at Blackjack. If she can get up.
heck was that all up? He's gonna walk away. I don't know what the heck is going on in this town. Can you fill us in, maybe?
Sure. Do you mind if I get myself and this Fanny Manny May over there a glass of water?
Oh, yeah, sorry. My apologies. Just, kind of a snap reaction,
Oh, she chuckles, and she walks over. She pours a few glasses of water, and she hands one to Fanny Manny May and drinks it herself. Everything is all right around here. It's just Logan. He really likes me, and he's asked for my hand in the past, and I've said no, but he's persistent, and we've remained friends.
You want me to take care of it? Stare at her.
Haven't we already pissed off one person? We don't need another one.
Sorry. No, I didn't mean it like that. I mean, you want me to talk to him or something? Sure,
I mean, if you want to talk to him, that's his private room is up there.
Oh, he's got a private room here, you say?
He does, yeah. He
those rooms for best things done behind closed doors.
Yes, yeah. He does. He has business meetings up there sometimes. But yeah, you're more than welcome to head on up and see him.
Are you happy here though? Stare at her. I didn't realize I picked the trigger that was gonna come up so much.
It's great. It just like so eyes wide open. I'm pretty happy here. And Comstock takes real good care of me. Because I run a fine establishment here, and I keep everyone here happy. I do exactly what she tells me to do, and we all have fun here.
Now, who's Comstock?
So she's the mayor. She really owns the town. She came out here and she found the silver mine, and she employs the people of the town. She managed to get rights to that mine, and because of that, she's rather wealthy, and he has a nice mansion that she keeps well protected behind those walls. People come and they want in on the silver. There's a gang that runs around the town, so that's why there are those walls. And we don't let outsiders go in unless she can really trust them.
Now, there's not a lot of women here, so it's unusual for a woman to own a town and a silver mine.
It's very true. Very true. She has some, let's say, elite bodyguards working for her, and that's how she's managed to secure this little place out here in the West. But
Well, how all do you get along? With just the girls get talking and she's a nice woman. How y'all get along?
yeah, it is nice for anytime some women come to the town. It is also rare. Though you yourself are a rare traveler, Fanny Manny May. But just between us, it's good to be on Comstock's good side, and I can secure a spot for you. I can't say the same for the rest of your crew.
Now, why would I not be on her good side? I ain't done nothing to put me on a bad side. No, man.
That's true. There's an order to things in town here. The people who try to disrupt the peace and happiness of the town, they need to be dealt with.
Now, what do you mean, dealt with? Is that like a thing that, the knitting circle gets together and does? What is that?
Well, they can't cause any trouble ever again.
So is she like conspiratorially telling me this? Is she comfortable telling me this?
So where this is kind of like she's been questioned before, and you kind of have this, it feels like it's like inside information between the two of you, that she is more open to telling these things to a woman than to other men.
Okay.
If any of these men bother you, you let me know. I'll make sure that we take care of them too.
Oh, I greatly appreciate that. Usually I can handle myself completely on my own, but you never know. So I appreciate the offer.
Well, anytime you come back to me, and I'll make sure that you're taken care of. As a matter of fact, why don't I secure a private room for you with me while the rest of them can go stay at the Sunshine?
I usually don't leave these gentlemen, and I'm sorry. They've been my traveling companions, the preacher and I. Heck, we've gone back a long ways, and I just couldn't leave them. But I do think that maybe we should meet up and have tea in the morning, and I'd love to get to know you more. I don't, as you can tell, traveling with these fine gentlemen, I don't get much time for girl talk, and I'd appreciate the time to do that.
Andy, could I have a word if you have a moment?
Yes, in fact, I would like that. I'm so sorry, honey. I gotta go talk to him for a little bit now.
Oh, sure. And so she just turns right around and goes back to serving drinks.
So I'm about a third of the way through the bottle. I want to get up. I got to jump up to the bar stool because I'm short. I'm just going to put the shotgun on the bar and just keep drinking at the bottle.
Listen, Fanny, things are about to get a little south here. You see Paco over there?
Oh no, here we go again.
Listen, here's my plan, okay? Remember that time you told me about? I don't know, you didn't really go into detail, but you're pretty light with the fingers from what I understand. A little, lifting a little extra change off of somebody if needed or something.
Oh, you're being kind. I can sometimes maybe pick, see something I like and make sure I look at it closely for a long time. So you're so kind. What is it you need?
Oh, so Logan, he went up to his room up there. He might be all by himself. Might not mind a little company, you know what I'm saying? Don't worry, you got a distraction happening in about, I give it about 3 minutes, really.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So I would, we got your back. But Logan might have something on us that we might be able to use. And if you can lift that off of him, we get a distraction. He comes running down. We leave here, bada bing, bada, nobody knows what happened or something like that, you know? I mean, except for Paco. I don't know what we're going to do with him. They're not going to be happy once he starts fighting, but...
Yeah, no, I think I can probably sidle on up there a little bit. How do we keep anybody from seeing me go up?
Here's the lady going to the man's room. I mean, nobody's going to think anything twice of it, you know?
All right, I'll head on.
Fine woman in song works every time.
All right, so yeah, I can start heading up the stairs. I'll do it slowly and deliberately.
Preacher,
Okay.
Acorn, when you want to keep an eye out up there?
Sure thing. I think I'll head up there, and just in case things get woody, I'll be around.
I don't want too much wood.
I wasn't going there, but I'm gonna make my way over and sit down next to. Are you, Paco? You sitting on a bar stool now?
Yep.
I'm gonna sit down on the bar stool next to him, just waiting. I know something's gonna happen. I'm gonna kind of just. I'm gonna put my hand on the shotgun. I'm just gonna slide it a little closer to me. You put it on the bar top.
Yeah.
All right.
The shiny one.
The shiny one.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna ask for an extra shot glass. And I'm gonna try and if Paco seems a little intoxicated, not really paying attention, I'm gonna try and just take the shotgun and holster it in my back. Get it away from him.
Kind of beat me to the punch, didn't you there, Black? I was about to say, maybe I should just, keep a hang on this just in case.
Okay, sure. Yeah, if you want to do, I don't want to like monopolize the scene and
No,
everything
it's fine.
here.
It's fine. I was actually thinking the same thing. Like somebody should take this shotgun away. Another incident I have to deal.
So why don't you do that? Why don't you like saddle up the other side of Paco and take the? I'll get the shot glass. Be like, you want to share some of that with me, there, fella?
No. Oh, there's no shot glass.
No, I like asked the barkeep for one. I was just like, come on, I need a glass here.
All right, so the Acorn, Fanny, Manny, May go to start walking up the stairs. At the bar, the preacher takes very slowly, slides the loaded shiny shotgun away and takes it. Paco has drank so much tequila that you can already just like smell it like coming through the pores. And Blackjack is trying to get another glass when the barkeep, who has also just kind of been ignoring the bar after this brief shot, the actual gunshot, now realizes that a patron has a full tequila bottle that he's just been like chugging on down. Wait a minute. Sir, we serve drinks here. We don't serve the full bottles. I'm gonna need to confiscate that, and just Blackjack is just like really trying to stop this from happening.
Hey, Roja, tell me this. I'm looking for someone. A man. He has rings on his fingers like a girl. You know this man?
So the bartender suddenly wide-eyed about this description, and so the preacher and Blackjack are both sitting there. Know also that the description of one of the Reach has just been laid out on the table by a stranger, and the bartender looks over at Snap and is like, Snap, I think you're gonna want to take care of this, which Fanny Manny May just heard, like them talking about taking care of people permanently. So
Yeah, I'll motion over to Snap. And Roja, venga aquí.
so now Snap
Snap, we're good here. We're good here. Please don't.
Yeah. He's just had a little much to drink, okay?
Surely get that around here. We'll take care of him. I promise. You know, I helped you out. You helped me out here. All right.
So at this point, all right. So you're not with him. What you're separate from this man here.
Say what?
You're just on your way trying to pacify this man. You're not cohorts with him. This is the bartender speaking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm a little lost if it was Snap or the barkeep. Well, I mean, I know the type. What can I say? You know, they drink too much, problems happen, they start talking gibberish. I'm sure you see it all the time.
Okay. So I'm going to say that this is a challenge.
Okay.
So unless you'd like to make a flashback, let's flip a coin.
All right. That's a heads.
Okay. So you succeed in convincing the bartender that the precise description of Alejandro was nothing but a fluke, and it's the drunken rantings of this man. But there is a minor setback. So the minor setback, I'm going to say, is that they notice the Acorn and Fanny Manny May going up the stairs. And the bartender looks over and is like, oh, what are you two doing? Those are private rooms. You need to talk to Snap before you can go up there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Snap said I could come on up. She gave me a message to give to him to come on back down. So I was just going to give him a little message. And I'm sorry, I didn't know he was following me, Acorn. Acorn, my darling, you can just stay at the bottom of the steps. I'll be just fine.
Well, I guess I can stretch out my branches a bit and stay down here. Just providing a little friendly neighborhood help.
I understand completely, and you've always been so kind, but I need to take care of this one on my own, darling.
Okay, so the bartender believes you and permits you to go up the stairs. So Acorn comes back down. Fanny Manny May gets to the room, and the door it's not like air sealed, so you can see that it is dark inside the room already.
I don't even know what I'm looking for. How do I handle this? I guess I'll just stick with the same ruse. I'll just knock lightly on the door and kind of as I'm going in and just say, honey, Snap sent me up just to check on you.
Okay, so you'll knock lightly. The door just kind of like goes open. You look inside, and as you start to talk, you see that he's already lying down on the bed, and it's just dark in here. But as you open the door more, there is some light, so you can see into the room.
Ooh. Okay. Do I see anything fun?
So you do see, rather conspicuously, that there is, on top of his nightstand, there is this silver, like bright silver coin that like reflects as the door opens.
Well, I'll try and take it.
Okay, so we'll say this is like kind of like a sneak attempt.
Okay.
We'll flip a coin, unless you'd like to make a flashback.
Nobody there to challenge me on a flashback.
So, well, anybody else can just kind of ask you is like, out of game.
I was about to say, I think the way my understanding is where the flashback works is we're not asking you as our characters. We're asking you more as the players to expand on their character's background.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I think Dustin said earlier, I think he said, at that one place behind you were light, you had light fingers or something like that. So,
I was trying to set you up for something if I could.
Right, exactly. So I'm going with it.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I can do something like that.
Okay, so go back to Acorn. Would you like to ask a leading question about having light fingers when it comes to a situation like this?
Sure. So has there been any times in your past involving a needed coin, perhaps, that you were able to swipe without anyone noticing?
Well, when I was a young girl, we didn't have much. We just lived as we could. And I learned early on at my mother's knee. She was a smart woman. That woman was smart. I learned from her how to kind of run through the streets as a little barefoot girl and just kind of take away from pockets things that I needed. And over the years, I just happened to be able to do it better and better. I had to change my tactics a little bit from the time I was 5 to maybe by the time I was 15. Because they don't see a 5-year-old, but they see a 15-year-old. But I learned and I adjusted as I went, and I got pretty good at it.
Nice. So you'll flip 2 coins to swipe this coin.
Right. I got 1 head. And 1 tail.
All right, perfect. So an even success. You pull it off. So you creep into the room, you take the coin, and you creep on out without him stirring whatsoever. And you look at this coin, and you see that it is not any sort of American currency, in that it is a unique silver coin.
Okay. Well, I pocket it and slowly sashay back down the steps.
And you also, it is made of silver, and you know that the town has like a silver mine.
Yeah, okay. All right. So I rejoin Acorn at the bottom of the steps, give him a sly wink, and walk back toward the bar where the rest of the people are.
I kind of lift my hat in response.
I'm going to pour as much of the bottle of tequila as I can into my cigarette case, which is made especially for that purpose.
Oh, great!
So like you're pouring it, and the bartender's kind of like gripping the bottle, like trying to pull it away. It's just like spilling all over.
Lovely. That is just lovely.
So I'm just going to tell the bartender, I'm going to give you 1 warning to get that hand off of that bottle.
As he's doing that, I'm going to kick the bar stool out from underneath him.
So you fall down. The rest of the bottle just pours out. And so the bartender just says, you know what? I think it might be time for you to close the tab.
I got this. And I'm just going to grab him and start dragging him out.
All right.
I'm going to head over.
Yeah, I'm going to struggle against that.
You're sure?
I'm sure.
I'm going to tip my sombrero to the crowd, say, night all, and then help Blackjack with Paco.
Okay, so you'll walk out of the Scorpion's tail.
Yes.
It is, in fact, nighttime. And you... so then Fanny Manny May having the unique silver coin. I don't know if you share that with everybody.
Yeah, I'll share that with everybody. I'm also going to say, hey, y'all, I don't think we should be staying at the hotel. I think we need to camp out. And I think we need to talk to that gang.
Yeah, you know, where I'm from, we say the enemy of your enemy is someone you probably still shouldn't talk to, but probably might help, you know?
And then I think we should just kick Paco a couple times for fun.
Yeah.
Jeez, kick him while he's down, huh?
I agree. I think it might be good to put down roots somewhere in town. And
Not at the hotel.
no, not in the hotel.
No.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know that technically he's one of the members of the Reach. But if we could get on one of their good sides, we might get some information out of them. I mean, so I might go to the hotel kind of based on this whole thing of I'm looking to set down a church here.
Yeah, and you do recall back when he was first giving you information that each member of the Reach did have something on them that they would flash in order to get inside of the walls.
Ah, yeah, I'd forgotten that part. Thank you.
So I think I'm going to go stay at the hotel.
I'll go with the preacher to help him.
You can't even walk.
Why walk just fine? Can't see so well.
Okay, so the preacher and Paco will head to the hotel, and the other three will head out to see the gang.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, I'll ask him some more questions.
Yeah.
Stick.
Okay. All right, so
Should we beat up Mr. Black and get more information out of him?
go charge back in.
I'm just kidding. I don't think it would be a good idea.
Okay, so as you split, so the three members, again, all your horses are missing. So you go to exit the town, and on the horizon, you don't see any gang members. So you'd be just kind of wandering out into the evening without horses.
And I would imagine those horses also had our supplies.
Yes, most of your supplies.
Well, that
Of course
sucks.
they did.
Acorn, looks like I don't any idea where they'd be. I guess they're not out here.
The horses?
No,
The gang? Yeah.
the bandits.
Oh, yeah. Well,
It's the middle. You're looking for horses in the middle of the night. You
that's right.
go to the stables to look for horses. Okay, you go out into the wilderness to look for trouble.
That's true. We could go back in the town and look through the stables.
Well, here's what I think. We may have to branch out a bit and then head over to find out if there are any stables around. I agree. But also, I think that we probably should, now that we think about it, see if we can get a little bit more information out of Mr. Logan Black. Maybe he could lead us to the other people.
You want more information? What more information do you want?
Well, I think it might be good for us to know where the rest of the hand is residing.
Oh, you saw what happened in there, right? When Paco got, he got a little crazy in there, and he's like, "I'm looking for a guy with a bunch of ringers on it." It was like, "Oh, you want to take care of him?"
That's right.
I reckon you go in there asking about people from the hand, you're gonna get shot. All right.
Yeah, that is true.
Or Snap is gonna take care of you with whatever crazy magic she has. Listen, don't
That probably will happen.
trust
Maybe.
any of them. Did you drink the scorpion's tail?
I did not.
Why not?
Because I knew it was poisoned, and I knew they would take
Don't
me.
trust anyone. All right. You
I
live.
like the
longer
cut
that
of
way.
your slab, Mr. Blackjack.
So as we're going towards the hotel, I'm going to kind of hang back from the preacher. So I really want to go back to the bar.
What's this now?
Yeah, why don't we? So what's the makeup of the town again, Conrad? So it's like we got the hotel, we've got the bar, we've got Skeevy's like fortress where he's managing everything.
I know where I'm sleeping.
Are there any? What are some other like establishments?
Well, that's a good idea. Sleeping at Skeevy's is a good idea.
Yeah, and so there is a stable. There's a bank. There's this like small little place that peering in the windows. It's just got all sorts of like small trinkets all over the place. Various articles of clothing. You see like a few homes, and actually coming out of the well, you see somebody just like making their way out and stepping out, and he pauses and he looks straight ahead at the lot of you in the middle of the street, and he kind of looks around for a minute, and then he starts walking towards you, but he's got like a little spring in his step. You can see that he is shirtless and he wears snake skins for sleeves on his arms, and he has very tight pants, and he walks up to the lot of you.
So I'm going to introduce myself. I'll say, they call me the Acorn. That's the Acorn. My friends and I are here visiting, and who might you be? Could you help us around? Show us where to go? It is night now. It's hard to see. We don't have any horses. Someone took them. We don't know who. Hello.
Oh, my name is Greensleeves. Pleased to meet you. I run a little, we'll call it a gentleman's club down in the well. And I often come up at night to see if anybody is looking to have a fun time, and especially if there are newcomers to town, such as yourselves. And your horses are probably at the stable. If you brought them into town, there are stable hands, Chance and Rance. They're real friendly with the animals, and they want to make sure that they're happy and taken care of. So I'm guessing that's where they are. Would you like to join me? And as he's looking, he does notice the silver coin. He says, "Oh, you're already friends with Comstock. Man, that was quick. Were you invited personally?"
Yes. You know, we've. I mean, do I need to like flip a coin for a bluff or something, or no?
No, he already thinks that you're in seeing the coin himself.
Okay. Yes, you know, she called us up, wired a message to us, invited us here to partake in the wonderful rust barrel. So here we are.
Yeah, she was needing a little help with those bandits out there. You know where to find them at this point in night, and we're hoping maybe catch them by surprise.
Oh, the Pesos gang. Yeah. I do know where their hideout is. That's great that they're finally going to be taken care of. Yeah. So sure, let's go get your horses and ride on out there.
Sounds good. Let's head to the stable, new friend, Mr. Greensleeves, the Acorn and Greensleeves and Blackjack and everyone. Sounds like a wonderful Western good time.
Okay, so he takes you over to the stables, and all of your horses are inside there. And you do see that there is a rather tall, slender man and a rather short, round man. They have very similar faces. You can tell right away that they're brothers. And they turn, woo-wee! Oh, you're supposed to be the newcomers who didn't properly secure their horses in the stables, so just left them out there. The name's Chance. This is my brother Rance. He don't talk much on account as he Well, you don't talk much. But here are your horses. And Greensleeve says, oh yeah, Comstock brought them in to finally take care of the pesos. And now we can, finally have a nice secure town. Not a single worry. So it's like, all right. And they actually give you like nice new saddles and pack bags. You can see that they've been feeding the horses well and like brushing them, and they just genuinely do care about the animals. So Greensleeves leads you out of town, and he rides out a good a couple miles to where you see a campsite in the distance, and there is like a fire in the center of it and a few tents. And Greensleeves looks to you and says, well, this is as far as I go. Good luck. So he turns and goes to ride back to town.
Have the rest of us been assembled at this point, or is it just them?
So I assumed that he had brought all of you here.
Okay. And I hate to butt in on the game, but the session is, according to the schedule, supposed to end at 10:50. I have no issue staying longer, just letting you know as the GM. Yes, thank you. I was planning to do a quick wrap in the next couple minutes with this. That's fine. Just giving you the heads up. I mean, I'm going to stay longer if that's what it takes, but. And then we'll do if you don't mind, we'll do like our discussion. Yeah, not a problem. Just giving you the heads up. The clock is running low. All right, so
I'll get off. Go ahead. Sorry, I was gonna say I'll get off the horse. We're kind of like the campsite's in sight, but we're a little ways off. Like they haven't seen us yet. And Greensleeves is leaving. Is that kind of where we're at?
Yes. Right? Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'll get off and I'll be like, you guys want to hold on to old Betsy here for me?
Sounds good.
I'll be back. Or not. Man can never really know his fate in these lands. I'll start walking over the camp.
Okay, just like obviously.
Yeah, I'm gonna like hands out, kind of like non-threatening, but I'm gonna kind of start walking towards them.
Okay. So you do see that one young man, like 18 years old, stands up and looks on over, sees you with your hands up, and he kind of squints. He starts walking over. Both his hands are out as well. He's a little slow to step, but you're that fella that scared us off a little earlier with the demon eyes.
Nice.
You get scared that easy? Stare at him.
Yeah, well, so you look around now, you see behind him that there are a few more, and that basically everybody is like a young adult. Like everybody is like a teenager. And because we were a little nervous after Comstock took over the whole town, threw out anybody who was young or and old, and so basically anybody who couldn't work was run out of town.
Can you fight?
That we can. We've steered clear of the town on account of the pointer, Trigger Kev there. He's an expert marksman, and so we haven't ridden anywhere within his range.
You know where all these hand members are? You seem to know a lot about this town.
Yeah, we were run out by them. They're each of them is an elite guard in itself, and we know what they all look like on account of they ran us out of town, but we I think what with a lot of you, we could storm Comstock's mansion in the dark of night.
Can we sit with you around the fire for a moment? I fill my compadres in here.
Sure. So I guess we'll kind of wrap it up there, where we'll kind of just decide, like you're siding with, discovered the truth about the town, the gang, and you're now making like battle plans in order to infiltrate her mansion and take care of Comstock. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Yep.
Sounds good.
End Act 1.
So yeah, I'd say we'll end it there. Because I do definitely want to discuss a little bit, the one how to integrate this, or like what people saw. Because let's just start with that. So what did everybody kind of think about the Clink as a game that could be utilized for therapeutic practices?
I kind of think, particularly with the whole idea of the each character trying to get more information, like it could definitely be used for people who are maybe like more withdrawn for whatever reason, maybe like some sort of trauma or whatever, helping them sort of come out of themselves, or maybe they need some sort of confidence building exercise, like that could help with that, I think.
I like the backstories, the flashbacks being both positive and negative. You can do, very strength. I'm a social worker, so, I could immediately go towards strengths-based. And I like that opportunity is there, but it also recognizes that not everything was a positive, wasn't positive. I can see some room for being able to take some of the negative, some of the I forget what you call them now. I don't have it in front of me. Scars. Thank you. And I can see where you could turn those, how did you get past those scars as well? I can see where that would be a good opportunity too.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about it a bit, and sometimes I need to sit with it and kind of let it percolate a little bit of, some of the mechanics and everything and how it work. I like how it's really simple to start playing. You carve out a simple kind of character idea. I really like how it gives the player agency to build out the backstory as the story goes on as well. I think one thing that's really important is giving someone control over their story, right? That especially when you're dealing with trauma work and things like that, right? When people have been through things and things seem out of control, right? Like they don't have control of what's happening in their lives. By having those flashback moments, they can think, oh yeah, I would be good at this because this happened before, right? That it gives the player and the character and the player in particular that agency over that. And I work with primarily substance abuse clients. I've worked in the field of substance abuse treatment. Currently, I work with both mental health and substance abuse. I don't work just with substance abuse, but that's more my expertise. And particularly with that population, I think of how giving that agency, because addiction takes away that control. Addiction is really a disease that's about the loss of control, right? You do things that are not going to be good in the chase of that drug, right? And this gives somebody a chance to be like, no, like there's these things that happened in my past and this is how I can use it to help me in this situation or something like that.
Yeah, and I think too, especially for like substance abuse, like the trigger where you want to create, alternative behaviors and where you're rewarded the first time you respond to a trigger with your behavior. Like you're given a coin in order to create flashbacks.
Mhm.
So I think that like ties in real nicely with that too.
But I think too, the triggers were good in that, I thought they were telling in how, I'm not sure how I can phrase this correctly. The triggers showed how that when you're triggered, you stop doing maybe what you wanted to continue doing. And so addressing those triggers as you move throughout the story is a good thing as well. For example, my trigger was for, I heard a gunshot, I'd just fall on the floor, and I was basically innate, unable to do anything, and of course his was, alcohol, and how that didn't move the story along, but you had the opportunity to use that to create the story too. To me, that was an interesting juxtaposition.
Yeah, I think I just want to agree with what both you guys are saying. I mean, I like the idea of people being able to take ownership over various triggers in their lives or traumas that they had, right? Like that they can sort of see them, recognize the context that they may cause some sort of backsliding, I guess you could say. I don't know if that would be the right term, but yeah, I mean, that idea of taking ownership, I just think is good. That kind of giving that sense of agency and control.
And people affect each other, right? So like if we reflect back to the scene, and I find this happens at least once every time I play Clink, is there's almost like a chain reaction of triggers. Like people plan them totally separately. But when Tim started approaching Logan Black, this was so already actually it started with Dustin with Blackjack, the staring at Snap, right? And so then Tim walks over, but by him getting closer to the bar to behave, then he smells the tequila, and because of that, he then bumps into Logan Black, who then becomes angry, who then fires off a gunshot, who then triggers Wendy with like going to the ground. And so you see that like the behavior is just it's like a chain reaction of events. And then actually Acorn 2 began his monologue like about Water Me, and ultimately Sam came in as the preacher with the final moment. And I find that happens with Clink all the time, is that people will plan these separate triggers, but then something will happen where it's just like trigger, 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 and it's a chain reaction. And I love those moments where we can really see how, like, despite planning very differently, like the people impact each other very in a meaningful way. Like the entire scene was like a chain reaction of events because of that. So Sam, what did you think?
I thought it was a pretty good game, very easy to get into. But as far as what could be applied, I think pretty much my fellow desperados here have said it all.
What are you, Tim?
I mean, again, I'm not a care professional, but it'd be fascinating to see what people pick as their triggers and how they act them out. I mean, I have to imagine it'd just be fascinating to see. And the depth and emotion of how they act those triggers out, depending on where they are in their head, I think would be fascinating.
Yeah, I think Clink really mirrors like early group sessions where you have all these strangers who come together, and that's kind of like the drifters, right? It's these vague, mysterious people. You basically are just going off of their appearance, and they have some mementos on them. Like they have a thing or two where it's like, oh, like I can see that on Joey's backpack there's Charizard. I noticed that there's like something, and that you can form, some sort of bond over one of your, trinkets that you keep. But you're kind of mysterious to each other, and then you have like these trigger behaviors, and you're encouraged, like a second person is supposed to ask you like something to help you come out with something positive, both the flashback and something negative. Like what Wendy was saying, you have both there, where somebody else is there to, you know, go along with you for it. And I think that it's cool that you're rewarded for like acting out your triggers. Because like, so like my background's like CBT, and like, so like role playing is like hand in hand. Like that's a tool that's commonly used anyway. And so role playing out all sorts of effects and then being rewarded for it, or being able to recognize behaviors based on triggers, or come up with new behaviors. And that's why I like, also, it's like you come up with a second trigger behavior as the game progresses. Like you really like how you reacted to something as the game played out. And so you decide to integrate that into your character.
Yeah, I really like that. Like I would love to see this in like a Firefly type setting. That's like the first thing that came to mind when I heard about this game. It's just like, I want to play this like in space now as like space pirates, basically, right?
Well, as he said, it's one of the most beautiful things about this. It can be whatever setting you want.
Yeah. And I think that's really interesting to me. Using role-playing games with people is kind of like even like taking it out of reality as much as possible. Sometimes something like this, especially where we're talking about like triggers and we're using the words flashbacks and triggers in the language of the game, that really gamifying it, that like, this is a game and you're a character and it's like, you're flying around in a spaceship. Like this is not like even close to anything you're going to experience. So, you know, there's building in some safety in that way, that it's really giving the player more agency, that they are playing a character by changing the setting even more. I like that idea myself personally. But yeah, it's really cool. I love the resolution mechanic of just like flipping coins. Also, anything that has simple resolution mechanics. I've not a huge D&D person, but like I can't imagine like new players that I have that are joining a group that's doing RPGs would like want to calculate DACO. Like it's just, you know, like having to do all the math and what dice do I roll. Even doing D&D with people who are brand new to it, it's like, so wait, so what's the armor class and what do I need to do? What do I roll? And it's like, just flip a coin. You know, flip another coin. Yeah, it's not going well for you.
It's
like,
technically FACO, but I see your point. Yeah,
DACO. Yeah, I never played. I only played 5th edition, so you gotta forgive me a little bit.
I'm kind of in the same area you are in a sense. Seems like a lot of people that I try getting role playing is like, well, this gameplay looks too. I'm like, okay, so you want to talk this person down? Yeah, flip a coin. It's heads. All right, cool. You talk them down, but a slight problem happens.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's so I do love how easy it is to get new people into role playing. I also love that the narrative is also just moves. Like there isn't like, where in D&D, like you can die. Like that's just not part of the rules here. Like you will develop scars that overwhelm you, and then you can come back in. Like your character just abandons this mission, but they can get roped back in by something if you want to keep using this drifter. And failure isn't necessarily like bad. It's just the way the narrative moves, which is again something that
life basically they teach. That's another neat thing I just thought as you were bringing that up. This kind of teaches you how that you can overcome failure.
Definitely, yeah, and that's again like another thing that it's so simple, but but it's so natural to the gameplay. Just like, well, just flip the next coin, and it's like, all right, we're gonna see how this scene evolves.
So tell me, how does it work exactly, like with the scars? Like if you get too many scars, you're kind of just like out, like you're going to leave, like you can't deal with it anymore, or how does that work exactly?
Basically, what he implied to me, and of course he can jump in, is if your scars if you ever have more scars than you have flashbacks, your character basically just says, to quote the great prophet Eric Cartman, screw you guys, I'm going home. And then the group's general idea is, do we let him walk, or can we somehow bring him back into our group? Like Blackjack, for example, if you decide to go to the Creed, if you decide to bail on us, I might have personally seen that thing that happened with you at Snap, but I would have been like, if this town goes to pot, just think what's going to happen to poor Snap.
Yeah, and that is how it is. So the mechanic itself is, if you develop more scars than flashbacks, it's you abandon your creed. And that is like the unifying thing that the group is working towards now. Because of the amount of scars you've accumulated, you've decided that it's not worth it for this situation anymore. But again, like, you can, if you want to, you just find a new reason to get roped back into this creed. So you don't just have to abandon the character. Is that?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, I like the idea that, like, the other party members, or the rest of the members of the group, then maybe they're like, you could do something with that, right? Like, how do they talk to you to have you come back? Like, how do you resolve some of those scars that you're not completely overwhelmed with them? Things like that as well. I think leaves a lot of area to work within as well, which is
maybe adding a section of that to the schematics as well. Like, would there be a way to overcome a scar to the point that it gets removed? I mean, you're not exactly forgetting the fact that it happened, but to give you an example of this, I nearly drowned in Ocean City several years ago, and for a while I couldn't go anywhere near the ocean. Just so much as stepping within feet of it would cause me to start freaking. But over time, I reached a point where I could start going back. Maybe adding into the gameplay somewhere a way that a scar can be overcome. So again, it's not so much the character is forgetting the past happened, but it doesn't affect me that negatively anymore.
Yeah, and certainly, like, if you like, I think that makes total sense to adapt that way. Like, if that's the way it makes sense for you to, like, face these issues, then certainly.
I was more along the lines of, like, putting something into the gameplay enabling the characters to do that.
Well, I think that's where, like, the therapist could hack it apart and use their own, like, come in with their own mechanics or their own ideas of how that might work. And that's what I love about the simplicity of the game in some ways, right? Where it's not like, well, like, this is the amount of damage you take for doing this. And, like, look at page 139 in the book, please,
So basically, you would treat this as more as the foundation as opposed to the whole building itself, which makes sense.
Yeah, and did we have some people type in questions?
Yeah, we have 4 of them.
Oh, yeah, there was a couple there.
Yeah, we have 4.
Because I'm not full screen. Oh, Q&A. Okay. So, what age level is this game appropriate for? Great question. I think because you can adapt the setting, you could hypothetically make it for basically any age.
I was actually going to answer that question the exact same way. I mean, again, it depends on the world you put into.
Yeah, provided that, like, you can flip a coin. I think that you can.
So, like, 4 up, basically.
Yeah, like, I mean, you could set this in like a Barney world or something, like or Sesame Street, and just start from that.
Sorry, you mentioned Barney and setting this in Barney world, and I'm suddenly terrified of that game right now, and I don't know how to play it.
I love you. So yeah, I think I that's my take on it, that you could make it for any age. Let's see, my social skills group typically run for about 30 minutes per week. How long does a game last? How many sessions can be expected for a game? I think that in general, like the game is on the shorter side because you kind of like you have your creed and you work towards it, as opposed to like Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder could last like indefinitely. Basically, once you accomplish your creed, then you've accomplished this goal. But then you can, if you want, take those same drifters and put them into a new scenario, or you could just make new ones. So I'd say that, I mean, you could run it hypothetically for 30 minutes a week. I mean, we certainly like spent time like going over the rules and character creation and, what have you, but it can certainly be directed to, a scene. Like, let's do a scene for this week and we'll see what happens. And then in terms of like, making it long lasting, you have that option. If anybody agrees or disagrees with that.
Yeah, make it Space Pirates and see what kind of shenanigans 6th to 8th graders get up to. Go for it. You're Space Pirates. What do you do?
Wasn't that game called Traveler?
I'm not familiar with that one.
That's what Firefly is based off of, is the RPG game, old RPG game called Traveler.
Okay.
Oh, I had no idea.
Tim can talk to you way more about that than I can.
That was my RPG entry drug in the 70s. So.
Excellent.
I work as a high school adjustment counselor. See clients. Is this game adaptable for individual therapy or only for groups? And are there any considerations for switching between virtual and in-person sessions? So I think that it definitely needs two people.
At least.
Yeah, because the nature of somebody else asking you the leading questions, I think, is like an important part of the game. I mean, certainly like the therapist could ask all of those leading questions, but I feel like it's the best to have a variety of people asking you those leading questions. But maybe somebody else could adapt it for individual use better than myself. And consideration for switching between virtual and in-person sessions, I think that it's pretty much the same, because you're not really, with like D&D or some games, like you can get like those big maps and you could have minis and everything, and you could have a lot to maintain to have, picture these dungeons in your head that are incredibly complex. Well, that's not really the case here. We build a little scene and then you flip a few coins.
Yeah, a couple pieces of paper and a couple of coins.
Yeah. So where the maintenance is so easy, I think you could very easily just swap right between in-person and virtual. And how can counselors learn more about facilitating games like Clink if you don't have experience leading role-playing games? Watch or participate in one of these, I think, is the best way, is probably to just jump into a session where somebody is doing that, and to learn about the role-playing experience that way. And certainly, have somebody who's knowledgeable about it answer any sort of questions that might come up. A game like Clink, I think if you have no experience role-playing whatsoever, again, it's like very easy to get into. And to lead, like, you really don't need to build like a ton of background to run a quick session. Like, you just build a small scene and you flip a few coins together. So was that the general experience for everybody? Like, this was like pretty easy to get into.
Oh, very, very much so. Yeah.
Can I just jump in there for a moment? To answer that question, as far as like how can you lead some of these things therapeutically, I think the most important thing is play games first. Really get to know the games, play them, know what they are. And I got to plug the Bodana group, right? We're here for Save Against Fear. They are offering trainings for people on introduction to what role-playing games are, why use them therapeutically. and more content on that as well. So there are a lot of people out there who are doing it. Seek some of those out, right? Like find people who are using it, see how they're using it, become familiar with the games, play games. I think that's extremely important. And Jack from Bodana Group will often talk about this, right? Like, it's not just like, oh, where's that module that's a therapeutic module that I could just pull off the shelf and play with people now because I want to, get to know it really and be a part of it, know what it can do, like we're kind of talking about here, and then see what you can do with it, perhaps.
Yep, I completely agree.
Yeah, one of the things that the person who asked about, can this be done, individually? I think one of the key components of this is the group cooperation as well, and that in an earlier session I was in, that ability to start working with people and the therapeutic effects of that, making sure you're pulling out the person who is maybe not as outgoing or somebody who may not be as willing to cooperate with somebody else. And I think that the group dynamics of it are also extremely important.
Yeah, and there's a game I recently backed on Kickstarter. I'm really interested in it, called The Gun and Slinger, actually, and I think it's designed to play with 3 people. But I did listen to the creator play it as a 2-person game, as a like GM-less game basically, and it's very much this. It's kind of in the similar vein of this, I think of. And there may be other games that are better suited, basically, is what I'm trying to say, than this. The Gun and Slinger is like, there's a sentient gun, and there's like the walker, the drifter kind of character, and you're kind of working together. Each person plays the different role. One person plays the gun, one person plays the slinger, basically. Kind of like a Dark Towers kind of esque, or any of those that genre of games. So there's so many games out there, so many indie games out there, and looking for some of those options of what may be out there for more of a 2-person. I would find this, like you were saying, kind of hard to do with 2 people. That allowing the other group members to ask some of the leading questions, I think really opens it up. That when us as facilitators can step back and just let the group do the work. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but like, that's always the magic for me.
I agree completely.
Awesome. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, and of course, the sales pitch man in me, that this kind of what we focus on our YouTube channel is independent gaming and the therapeutic aspect of it. Conrad being our therapeutic mastermind here. So I did put a link to the YouTube channel in the chat there. We've got obviously links to our games as well as our podcast, where we kind of dive a little bit deeper into the therapeutic aspect of gaming. So just throwing that out there too for those of you that might want to. For those of you that might want to, start diving into this a little bit, we've got some stuff up there for you.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, questions?
All right.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for
thank you for running this. This is good.
It was awesome.
Before you guys all take off, if you guys do want to send us your address or mailing address in a in a DM. We actually were donated. David Sherdoin, the creator of Clink, donated us copies, and we'd love to get these to you if you'd like to have them.
Do you want it in the chat?
Either in the chat, a DM on Discord, however you feel comfortable doing it would be great, and we'll get them out to you.
Well, that'd be awesome. I'm looking forward to, like I said, perhaps doing something with this game. So that's really cool. I appreciate it.
I was about to say, you guys just saved me $10. I was about ready to hop on Tabletop RPG and grab a copy.
Beautiful, and it's even a hard copy. How about that?
Yes, I like loot.
All right. Awesome. No, we certainly appreciate it, guys. This was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. And I did put one in a private message to you, Dege Time.
And
All right.
doing so myself now.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
No, Conrad, thank you so much, and really appreciate it. This is
Well,
the first time we've been able to game since the COVID thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that I was able to be that experience for you. Thank you for playing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because we do tabletop miniatures, you can't do that.
That's right. Yeah.
You can't do
You
that.
can on roll d20, but I understand it's not the same.
Well,
Yeah,
join-
Dustin, Sam, Wendy, Tim. Nice meeting you guys as
You
well.
too, John.
Nice meeting you too, John. Hope to see you around our gaming table. Maybe
Yes.
next year we'll see you at Saving in Spirit 10 in person.
Yeah, that'd be
Fingers
great.
crossed. Fingers crossed. We'll be
Yeah.
there.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night,
Yeah,
everybody.
thanks.